Out of the bathroom, Fry. Fry. Good morning, everyone. Feeling a little flirty, feeling a little, on the edge. So I thought this morning, what would Hannah do? And I had my, impeccable green tank top and my black, little overcoat. And I thought my new guiding principle will be, what would Hannah do? And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I think not last night, but the night before Tuesday night, I did a thank you and body cam stream, and we saw Hannah. And Hannah has a lucky green tank top that may not be so lucky because she only seems to really, well, get in trouble while wearing her green tank top. But I'm hoping that, this green tank top brings me all the luck because, we only got, well, 4 more days till Christmas, and we made cookies yesterday, so the boys are hyped up on sugar and sprinkles and everything else. I think Fry may have eaten some clandestine cookies too, because he is all Twitter pated as well, as you can see. I know, he's not even napping. It's strange. The natural balance has been broken. Good morning, Eris. Thank you for doing all the mod thingies. Good morning, JKD Buck. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Sal. We have a lot of stories since Mr. Mo and the feral ones are at home, and I need to take no one to school. No, I have a green tank top. I love army green. So I thought, what would Hannah do? What would Hannah do when, life's getting a little weird? I haven't started drinking yet, though, y'all. Gonna wait till 10 at least. But we do have some news, so let's get on it. Yes, green tank top, black over thing. I think I have sufficiently channeled Hannah enough. We're gonna see what would Hannah do. Probably not. But, So our first news story is that Jeffrey Epstein, who may or may not have dealt with himself, accuser Virginia Giuffre taunts 170 people will be exposed on his quote unquote naughty list. I want to believe this. I definitely do. Good morning, Lil Peanut. Good morning, Annabelle. Good morning, Flux. Good morning, Billy Marie. I am sitting here thinking about in my green tank top, what do I want to give up? How do I want to improve myself next year? And I've got many things that I need to give up to become a more healthy person as I'm sitting here drinking my cold caffeine, and I haven't even cut up the little 6-pack ring. Look, if diet, I don't like coffee, y'all. Cold caffeine is about the only thing I like. So, but I do need to drink more water. So, you know, getting getting ye old New Year's resolutions ready and trying to make them so I can actually carry them forward beyond, January 2nd. Always the key. So I really want this to be true. I want everyone who went to that Forsaken Island to, oh my God, we need to have a Hannah day. Look, I want to be invited to her and Sanders' weddings. That's all I'm saying is I want the love story, the, meet cute or cute meet or whatever it's called, because I don't know. I'm not a kid anymore. Uh, I would like to be involved in that. I feel like we've all gotten to know their love story. I simply want green tank tops. Yeah, well, I'm attempting to, looking at my health, I realize that I am, well, I was going to get a bread maker, But then I realized they might have been going low carb. So I was going to do a George Foreman grill because those things are awesome. If you're trying to, eat more protein, I'm just saying. Especially if the rest of your family is not going to go low carb with you. But yeah, probably not a margarita set for their wedding gift. But back to the story, as we've gone off on all the tangents already. I want this to be the truth. I want that everyone who had anything to do with this island of debauchery and torture and pain and shame and just badness for all of these people to get, found and judgment. But I have a feeling that this is going to be just like, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where it all became about Wanda and how she had to defeat her own self. Which, look, JKD Buck, I'm not sure their wedding's gonna last. I'm not investing in an air fryer or a dehydrator for them. I'm sorry. An alleged victim of the deceased bad man, Jeffrey Epstein, celebrated Wednesday after it was revealed that more than 170 people with ties to the accused trafficker will soon be exposed, calling the reveal an early Christmas gift. Virginia Guffrey, who settled a $12 million lawsuit over allegations that Epstein trafficked her specifically to Prince Andrew, appeared to taunt the dozens of associates and ex-employees whose names will be dredged up in a trove of court documents to be unsealed in the upcoming weeks. I mean, I have a feeling that this is, bread and circuses. Don't let me get all Dale Gribbly on you, but, they're not going to fry the big fish. They're going to get some medium fish. Good morning, greedy bloke. There's going to be a lot of people over Christmas and New Year to be nervous. 170 to be exact. Who's on the naughty list? Guffrey wrote on X. Merry early Christmas, Guffrey, who is 40, wrote in another tweet. Manhattan federal judge Loretta Preska on Monday ordered the release of a long sealed document in a since settled defamation suit that Guffrey brought against the convicted bad guy's girlfriend. See, here's my issue with it right now, and several people have brought this up, but right now, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine or whatever her name is, are in jail for trafficking people to no one. I mean, they haven't gotten the people with whom they trafficked or to whom they trafficked, so are they even in jail for trafficking when you have no one to whom they were trafficked? It seems a little idiotic. Ghislaine, look, her parents named her terribly for what she would go on to do. I'm just saying, maybe they should have named her Chastity. Under the ruling, dozens of individuals who have been previously referred to as, quote, Jane Does or John Does in various court filings linked to the suit will likely be identified to the public when materials tied to them are unsealed in full. Yeah, the parents didn't think that name through. Although, when you have this tiny little, beautiful little Winston Churchill baby alien looking thing that is the cutest looking thing to you ever, even if it has a lumpy head or, a cone head. Look, or even if you're looking at it and you're like, oh my God, I gave birth to Lord Voldemort at the end of Harry Potter, and this baby isn't cute, but I still have to love it. However you fall on that spectrum, you don't grow up, you don't think they're going to grow up to be a giant, piece of human turdlet, okay? So I could understand that it probably was a beautiful name to them at one point. Although she gave the yet-to-be-named individuals 2 weeks to appeal the situation, Friberto, I am trying to have a stream. Oh, yes. And y'all don't forget, MLS presents a Christmas stream December 22nd. I will be there. Good morning, the expert. Merry Christmas to you, or Happy Festivus, or Winter Solstice, or, if you just celebrate secular holiday or Jesus's fake birthday, whatever. Or if you're in my house, the miraculous twin or triplet birth of Jesus, Santa, and Krampus. Look, we're working on it, y'all. Safe travels, Jungle Minx, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, whatever holiday you know. Look, I know a bunch of conservatives and conservatarians get all bent out of shape about happy holidays. I really don't. Look, I was forced to watch, the Hallmark Channel at the dentist office. I feel like we have done enough damage to this holiday season. It's always the same three actors pretending that they have a different plot. My mom loves the movies, I'm not going to lie, but still. Now, again, the issue with this, there you go. Yes, Merry Christmas. Well, I say Merry Christmas, all the other things, but I also don't have an issue if you just want to say happy holidays. I don't care. It's not big enough for me to get Twitter painted over and, start a Bill O'Reilly like campaign about. Because, I have my Hannah shirt on. I need to go out and do something to get me a Sanders. And the expert, if you haven't seen the Hannah stream, you must see the Hannah stream. So, my issue with this entire article is that we will never get the big names. We will never get the big names. We're not going to get the Alan Dershowitzes, the Matt Groenings, even though I love you and you helped create Futurama. You were on that plane a bunch of time, Matt Groening. So you need to explain yourself. Well, look, I don't need a double tap to the back of the head, okay? I've already got enough issues. But that's my problem. My problem is that we're not going to get the truth. And for this young lady, I hope that this brings her more comfort and gives her a small measure of justice. But I feel like this is bread and circuses. I feel like, oh, no, there is a fine line, and I dance. Look, sober Mo knows that I have no rhythm and I dance like Elaine, but slightly socially lubricated and drunk Mo thinks that I am Beyonce and decides that I can dance. And thus far, none of those instances have been filmed, and I'm keeping it that way. So Fry is getting, he likes these babies, like the little blind box, beanie baby kind of things. So I've got a couple of those, and then he's getting some chew bones. The hot items for the kids this year. So the door is shut. So actually that is, well, I'm way off topic. Let's just go to this. So for this year, I actually have a good story time for this. Our our middle son, Chris Farley / Bobby Hill. Friberto, put that down right now. Give that to me. Thank you. No, that's not yours. Our middle son, our middle son, who is Bobby Hill and Chris Farley reincarnated, has his birthday in January, right on our anniversary. So we never forget our anniversary, but we also rarely ever go out for our anniversary. So, we try to make sure that we have birthday / Christmas gift. Now, Mr. Mo, in his infinite wisdom and trying to be helpful, I will give him this. Gunner is not the easiest to buy for. Look, he was my only winter baby. I was beyond excited, Eris. Then he came out like 10 pounds with the world's biggest head. The only thing I wanted was a little baby, and I got him this whole little owl coat suit. And I had to put the owl, because his head was too big to fit the owl hat, I had to put the owl like on top of the bassinet because he was too big for it. My mom had to run out and get 3-month-old clothing. As a perfect July baby, too, I understand. But so he took him out and tried to get some ideas. They came across these hoverboards, but in like a cart thing. So it's not directly the hoverboard, but it's like a hover cart thing. Now, I never thought I'd be this mom, but all I could see was broken bones and car accidents and you'll shoot your eye out, you'll shoot your eye out. Like, I became the mom from the Christmas Story. So my knee jerk reaction was take it back. Now, Mr. Mo found a wonderful, wonderful sale on this item, and it was about $200 off. So I don't even know if we can take it back. But I will say that everything worked out okay because middle son changed his thing that he wanted for his birthday to a Switch, and the oldest son, who will be turning 12 on his next birthday, has and is age appropriate for the hover cart thingy and will be wearing a helmet. We have decided to kind of do gift shuffle. So, but a lot of things this year are like Legos because I am the first one on, Cyber Monday looking for stuff. So a lot of it is Legos, stuff for their rooms. Oldest son is getting middle daughter's old phone because middle daughter wanted the new phone because something about her current phone being too slow or the wrong color. Who knows? Teenage girls are hard to buy for. But yeah, so we got things figured out. Give me enough bourbon, Festivus poll would probably happen. But yes, so we're we're nearly done with all the wrapping, and I've got all the stocking stuffers done. And if the Mo from 2 years ago, who had all of this stuff done by early November and usually got everything, checklist, if that heifer could just make an appearance and be super type A again, my mini 67. Yes, look, okay, it's not the Yanks' fault. It's a Midwest thing, and I'll go through it. It's so for those who don't speak Midwest, here's a quick thing. We go to the Krogers, we go to the Aldis, we go to the Myers. Now Target doesn't get an S, but Revelations do. Now, I understand that there's only one book and it is Revelation, but there are a lot of revelations in it. Look, it's an S. It's the Midwest thing. Like we're going to the Krogers, we're going to the Aldis. I am a product of my raisin. That's just how it is. Now, speaking of Lego, since we're way off topic yet again, so yesterday I had to check out a little bit because I don't know about you, but this Christmas season has been a little bit incinerating. I don't know if anyone else has just been beyond Twitter pated and anxiety ridden like this entire year. But I decided to get to work on some of my Legos. So here is half of the Futurama ship done. I know, me derailed. You're shocked. So I just watched The Good Doctor and then cursed myself when I couldn't remember or I misplaced half of it. Well, possibly. No, no. Yesterday I needed to decompress. I will tell you guys. So this is just gonna be just kind of a ramble stream, I guess, since I don't know if it's just me or this year. Thank you guys so much. But this year has seemed like a mulligan year to me. I have loved Slinky. God blessed you. God bless you, you brave warrior. Just surrender to the craziness and chaos and get extra batteries, extra tape, and extra booze. I'm just if you partake. This year has been poorly behaved. I will say that. Now, I will say that this year has been alternately the best year because I am doing something I have always dreamed about in the streaming thing, but it's also coming to grips with this whole forcible retirement from, and it's not PC to say this, but my look, I loved being a stay-at-home mom. I loved it. I made freezer meals for other people. I did big batch freezer meals. So like I was going to make that into a business. It was busy and blessed and I had, before prices of food went insane, I mean, I had weekly menus. I made other people's meals. Now my kids still wanted to always just eat ramen noodles. I mean, the irony that people literally paid me for my food and my kids just wanted ramen noodles and chicken nuggets. But, and I would deliver them to people and, different things like that. And, I'd make keto stuff and different things. And I love that. That was my job for, almost 10 years, 10, 11 years. I'd I'd make sure the house was clean, make sure Mr. Mo didn't go into work looking homeless. It with like pressed, well, the uniforms, let me let Fry out. He hears the feral boys real quick since he's being a tight. Okay, Fry, 1 second. Yes, you can go play with the boys. Yes, yes, you hear them. I know. I know. Okay, go out. Take him outside, please. Fry's pretty sure he's gonna get he's gonna get more cookies somewhere. But you know, he so all of that to say that now I'm basically stuck to kind of doing chores as I can, and my life really changing. And that's been a big, big have a good day. A big, big change. Thank you. It's so, and actually, in a rare change for me, dealing and addressing my feelings instead of, you know, stuffing them down and pretending they aren't happening, is a total new thing. So it's been an interesting year to say the least. And it's definitely been a reset. So while I have loved this year for what it's taught me, and sometimes hot messes can definitely teach you more than smooth sailing and nice calm seas. I'll be okay if 2024 decides to be a little bit more smooth sailing. I'm just saying, for like a friend, Now, I have no illusions to that because, 2024 is going to be a year with an election. And, if this year, or if this past year, has anything, to teach us, it might be the year with the presidential erection too, because, at this point, I put nothing past 2024. Because why not? I mean, we already have people in the Senate doing OnlyFans work. Might as well do that. Wait, do I have to say that we really need an OnlyFans description? Hey, look, we've already had OnlyFans in the Senate. I say we go full on OnlyFans for the presidential election, and someone's going to do it. Yes, yes, Biden's going to say it someday. He is. I'm going to laugh my bobs off. I'm going to laugh my tits off. I'm going to do it. It's going to be funny. It's going to be on there. My Mini 67. I feel you have gone from 50 miles a day on my bike and full-time job to being a nightmare to climb the stair in 3 years. Chronic life-shortening lung disease forced. Yeah, it's now what I will tell you guys, and what I did do yesterday in between watching The Good Doctor and, okay, Good Doctor, can you stop making me cry every 5 seconds? Like, yesterday was just full of girly feelings and crying, which I have no time for, seriously. Mr. Mo was like, what the hell? Are you on your cycle or something? Which, can we, sirs, and other misters. Now, Mr. Mo is not a new hire, so I feel like I shouldn't have to say this for his safety, but never, and I do mean never, ask if any of your wife or significant other's craziness is because of her uterus, because she will get out of whatever charges she does, receive if you ask that stupid question. And she won't be able to answer because her uterus has taken over hostage and her hormones are running crazy, and we don't even know why we are feeling the way we do. Hell, we women, at least in my personal experience, look, my hormones don't ever tell me why I'm feeling the way I am. I can't give you a freaking answer anyway. So don't expect me to. I am about the dudishest girl that you have ever seen. So when Mr. Mo is like, why are you feeling the way I am? I'm like, I don't know. My uterus has done taken over hostage. I don't even understand what is going on, but I am feeling all the feelings. And freaking Facebook done destroyed me with this puppy video. He was like born in a gutter and then he found a family. And Mr. Mo is like, okay, I'm just going to throw you like a Cheetos package and walk slowly away. And that is the good way to do it. Now, the dangerous way to do it is to ask as a male, okay, is your uterus causing this? Now, this is when you get the slow kind of look of death. And when your significant other gives you the Kubrick look, when we start looking at you from like a slightly downward to upward angle and we give you a Kubrick look, look, run. Even if we are chronically crippled, run. Yeah, never in the history of ever has calm down ever worked, but continue to try, entire male population. I'm sure it'll work one day. Run fastly. I mean, even Steve Irwin never tried that on camera, and he pissed off a lot of crocodiles. Even to his wife, he wasn't like, hey, darling, sweetie, I piss off a lot of dangerous animals, but are you on your cycle? Even Stephen Wren is like, look, I'm not that stupid. He's like, y'all, I don't play that. In other news, I don't know who needed to be told this, but if you're a frequent flyer, bullets and freedom seeds also can't be taken through the airport, even if you hide them in a Pampers. A passenger hid bullets in a baby diaper at New York's LaGuardia Airport. TSA officers caught him. Oh, bless his heart, my Mini 67. I will send flowers to his gravesite. I can't imagine that. I mean, I imagine that his eulogy was well attended. Yeah, so don't put freedom seeds in Pampers. It was a loaded diaper, but not like you think. Security officers found 17 freedom seeds concealed inside a Pampers baby diaper Wednesday at New York's LaGuardia Airport, Transportation Security Administration said. Oh, I had to punch him. I don't see. I have. I do not know. For the love of all that's holy, officers put the otherwise clean diaper from the passenger's carry-on bag after it triggered an alarm in the X-ray machine at the airport. Okay, so where did they put the? Why are you traveling with freedom seeds, and where is the force multiplier? I mean, ammo is expensive now and again, and it's in short supply since we're sending it elsewhere. But where's your force multiplier? My biggest thing is, okay, as a person who has very, very big issues to the point of like sensory issues of being barefoot and gross, just ugh, being barefoot in public places, the fact that we have to take off our shoes because some jackhole decided to do something bad. Thank you for becoming a member, and I will put you up on the mini murder board of truth. Oh, get that. So the fact that we have to take our shoes off because some jackwagon decided to do something terrible with, fireworks of an unauthorized fashion, if you catch my drift. I'm like, why am I being punished? I didn't try to do anything bad with chemistry. I don't do math. Yeah, you'd think that we could, maybe. So the fact that I have flown maybe once in the last 16 years and still have to take out my out of my shoes is just ridiculous. And the fact that they still have to. Now, granted, I do have a large testicular area, so I could, in fact, if I wanted to smuggle things, I do have a large smuggling area, but, only channeling my inner Hannah when I'm going to, the movie theater and I have a big mom purse and I, haven't sunk to that level yet. I'll just take my big mom purse. why I must do the whole, pat down by an uninterested person in rubber gloves. I mean, I really feel like I should get tipped after that, but yeah. Big mom purse, like a backpack purse. You carry that in. Now, survival tip for anyone, and I always tell my kids this. So, if you are ever in a bad situation, like if, say, you are on a road trip, you crash, you, you know, fall on a different purse. Yes, sorry. So, update on the tooth situation. In addition to my wonderful medication helping me with my CRPS, it makes my mouth chronically dry, which is awesome. But apparently, that is not great for your teeth. So I've got all new mouthwashes, but having not great teeth to begin with means that the crown that they put on, anyway, they've got to pull the tooth and do a bone graft thing. So I have this hole in my mouth now. They are able to get it done, and I am so much luckier than a lot of people because we do have dental insurance. So I'm trying not to be Twitter pated about it, but God bless you, dental hygienists, because I don't know how you look into mouths and deal with that noise. Because yeah, I'm looking at probably having to do that at some point. So I I am toying with going full gold and like House of Mo in Diamante though. You know, if Young Thug Trial has taught me anything, it's you know, a new grill can be a totally new way to market yourself. So, uh, that will be happening on the 2nd. So I will not be partying for the new year. Not that I really party anyway, but that'll happen on the 2nd. So I probably will not have a stream on the 2nd. But, I, no, they were all lost in a boating accident. I always say the deer got mine. Boat, I don't know. So, yeah, that's kind of where that. I don't know exactly what I said, but if I come back to, if my train of thought comes back to that station, I will follow up with that. So, anyways, do not hide freedom seeds in diapers. The TSA will find them, even if they look genuinely disinterested at their job every time I've seen them. Apparently, they do find some things, and, they will find them. So, possibly just don't take anything that you're not supposed to. They have flyers, they have signs. Just don't. Now, we come to another person who has been wrongfully imprisoned for nearly 50 years, but an Oklahoma judge has ruled that Glenn Simmons, a man who was wrongfully in prison for 50 years, is innocent. Oklahoma man who served the longest wrongful imprisonment in history has now been formally declared innocent of a murder he always maintained he did not commit. Oklahoma County District Court Judge Amy Palumbo ruled in favor of Glenn Simmons, 71, updating the dismissal of his murder conviction with a declaration of actual innocence Tuesday. Simmons had been convicted of the December 1974 murder of Carolyn Sue Rogers, who died after being shot during an Edmond liquor store robbery. He was imprisoned for more than 48 years and a former death row inmate, according to the data from the National Registry of Exonerations. Palumbo said that she reviewed decades worth of transcripts, reports, testimony, and other evidence while preparing to make her decision before granting Simmons' request. I'm trying to do at least a little bit news. We can we can derail after this story, because I do want to get this story out, because he spent nearly 50 years in prison for being innocent, which sucks all the donkey balls. Quote, this court finds by clear and convincing evidence that the offense for which Mr. Simmons was convicted, sentenced, and imprisoned in the case at hand, including any lesser included offenses, was not committed by Mr. Simmons, the judge said. Simmons said Palumbo's ruling Tuesday was a confirmation of something he had known all along for nearly 50 years, that he was an innocent man. Quote, this is the day we've been waiting on a long, long time, and it's finally came, Simmons said. We can say justice was done today, finally, and I'm happy. Simmons' attorney had 50 years stolen from him. One of Simmons' attorneys, Joel Norwood, said the state of Oklahoma wrongly took away a chunk of his life. Well, yeah. Hiya, Giraffe Girl, and thank you so much for the gifts that you sent. I'm actually wearing the earrings today, and I've hidden the brushes so that my girls can't steal them by, putting them in their rightful place in my makeup drawer, so they can't steal them. Yes. Quote, he had 50 years stolen from him, the prime of his work life when he could have been getting experiences, developing skills that was taken from him by no fault of his own by other people, he said. Kim T. Cole, a civil rights attorney based in Texas, supported Simmons on Tuesday and said the state needed to be held accountable for robbing Simmons of 5 decades of his life. Quote, it's too late for justice at this point, but it's not too late for retribution. No, restitution. Retribution sounds like vengeance. What you want is restitution. You would think, as a civil rights attorney, as an attorney at any time, you would want to be very careful with your words. Retribution is very loaded, but that's a whole nother story. Prosecutors' attorneys dispute failure of proof in Simmons' case. After 48 years of incarceration, Simmons was released from prison earlier this year when Oklahoma County District Attorney Vicky Benihana determined that prosecutors had violated Simmons' rights to a fair trial by not disclosing a police lineup report to his trial lawyer. While Vicky had decided not to pursue a retrial and agreed to dismiss Simmons' murder conviction, she has been reluctant to describe Simmons' case as exonerated. Her office had objected to Simmons' actual innocence claim, saying the state could not prove Simmons' guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and that an eyewitness would not recant her identification of Simmons in 1975. Well, yes. Revenge, yes. He wants revenge. I get that, revenge. I just think that if you are an attorney, it's you want to use words in their correct context. And if he wants revenge, then he wants retribution. It's just, what he wants is restitution. He wants money back. And that's fine, and he can have that. It's just, now what the state is actually saying is that this is not a case of, hey, we found exonerating DNA. He was placed in prison on an eyewitness, eyewitness testimony and they have not recanted, but they also weren't given exculpatory police lineup information. So there's not a whole way that basically before the judge ruled that he was super not guilty, the state wouldn't come out and say, hey, look, we're not going to retry him, but we're also not going to claim he was super not innocent or super innocent. So there's definitely two different things. Now, Simmons is eligible for up to $175,000 in compensation from the state of Oklahoma for wrongful conviction. Okay, now that's super low. Even I. But it could be years before he sees any of that money. Well, he's only 71, Oklahoma. I'm sure you've got years to wait. Norwood added that Simmons is living off of donations primarily from a GoFundMe while he's undergoing treatments for cancer. Okay, could they make this any more sad? Holy Jesus. Get this man on Oprah. Quote, whatever compensation he has coming is down the road, and I would just encourage people to donate to Glenn's GoFundMe because money ain't showing up in his bank account tomorrow, Norwood said. Simmons can also file a federal lawsuit against Oklahoma City and law enforcement officers who are involved in Simmons' arrest and conviction. So it's definitely going to be, I think, a fight. Now, if I were the city of Oklahoma, I would definitely settle with him right away. Because it's going to look very bad. Now, I don't understand what the holdup is because, again, and I don't know, you would think Ben Crump would be on this like Ben Crump is on every single thing that turns out to be a holy poo fest. But Ben Crump seems to specialize in things that turn out to be fairly hard to substantiate as actual wrongdoing at sometimes. But you would think this would be an actual case where Ben Crump could do something, lend his weight and his, kind of, or where is Jesse Jackson? Where are all of these, civil rights people that, use their kind of clout to scare cities into settling? Where are these people? You would think that they would be there with cowbells on, saying, well, he is, but he's also on, NBC saying stuff about things that he's also butchering American history on, CNBC or whatever. Yeah, well, and it does say in the article that he is, eligible for up to $175,000, but it will take a long time to get that through courts of appeals and everything else. My pitch for the state of Oklahoma City, is that you should just go ahead and pay him and kind of sweep this under the rug. Again, it's like the J. Hatch Hospital. Just go ahead and pay Maya. Stop going after all of the jurors and everything else. You do not look terrible. Stop looking terrible. Now, yesterday, I felt a bit like the worst mother in the world because I didn't make my homemade, royal icing, and I let the kids just make just use, tubs of icing to decorate cookies. Usually I go all out. I make, royal icing. I get the bags all together. We do them. The cookies, I, help them. We make double batches of the gingerbread and then the sugar cookies. And this year I just have surrendered to the fact that I can't do royal icing. So royal icing is, if you've had sugar cookies with the harder frosting on top. A lot of people are getting into decorating cookies. So if you've seen any of the kind of YouTube videos where they have people decorating cookies, let me see if I can pull one up. Doo-doo. So, yeah, me. Ta-da! Oh, no, I don't need you to start playing just yet. If you could wait just 5 seconds. Stop screen, present. Okay, so this is royal icing. Royal icing is kind of, you have a flooding icing in the middle, but this is what a lot of people use. It's basically egg whites and powdered sugar. You use pasteurized egg whites, or at least I do, and a little bit of almond or vanilla flavoring. I love almond flavoring, so I may use all of it, all of the frosting. But usually I used to make all of the colors and do all of that. So it was my thing. I definitely used to do all of that. But so this past year I did, or this year I didn't do that. So we just got tubs of frosting and did that. Now, where was I on this whole train of thought that I was going to do? No idea. But the fact that I felt like I was being a bad mom, but the kids were just happy they were doing cookies. I am not, in fact, the worst mother because this is the worst mother. Yes. And you can put a dash of glycerin in. It just makes a very hard royal icing is very stiff when it dries. Sorry. I didn't mean to have it on that loud. I am very sorry, Wolfram. So I did well, so Eris, that was actually just a video from YouTube. When I do news articles, I use Brave. Sorry. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what royal icing was. It's what people typically use to make gingerbread houses because it does dry and it can be used kind of to adhere things together. But it was also used as in older cakes, definitely like the royal cakes. If you see a lot of very labor intensive lattice work and stuff like that on other cakes, royal icing was used because it's much more stiff. Look, do I watch the British baking show like it's my job? Yes, I do. But this mom is actually the world's worst mom. Yes, I will have to look. I'm only, well, yes, it's just icing. Speaking of that, My Mini 67, I do have 2 boxes. Not that I should be using them after, but I have 2 boxes of Bakewell tarts coming uh, just for me. I will be eating both of them all by my own self. I will not be sharing with anyone because those are my, if I had, this is why I can't go to London ever, England ever, ever, because I would just turn into a Bakewell tart. It's terrible. Playing with fire, a mom led an 8-year-old her 8-year-old daughter to her death by telling her to go under a stopped freight train to catch a bus. A bus. Sorry, for the love of all that's holy. I can speak English sometimes. Not today, but you know. Oh, I could not even watch that one. I took one look at the kind of backstory of that trial and I was like, nope, she's a dumpster fire and not a good kind. A California mother who led her 8-year-old daughter under a freight train in order to catch a bus with fatal and tragic consequences tearfully told a judge she wished she could take back the moment, but a skeptical judge sent her to prison anyway. Well, they're probably not, but listen, they were. I look, that's why I can't go. Fresno County Superior Court Judge Heather Mardell Jones instructed Joy Frances Collin, 49, or construed Joy Frances Collin, 49, as downplaying responsibility for her daughter's death. The judge sentenced Jones to 6 years behind bars for child abuse and endangerment. Yeah, I did see that. That was just, ugh. Jones had requested probation. Quote, I do believe she feels sadness and remorse, but I also believe she has convinced herself that it was an accident and she could not have foreseen this happening or was responsible, Jones said, according to the Fresno Bee. Collins admitted leading her then 9-year-old son and her 8-year-old daughter, Joanna Harris, under freight trains 7 times before the fateful day of December 17th, 2018. As police in Fresno have said, this time involved her first leading her son across the tracks under a mile-long, momentarily stationary freight train. She had wanted to catch a city bus and called on her daughter to follow. Young Joanna was reluctant, but eventually tried, only to get lodged into the bottom of the train. What is wrong with... I hate this woman. I mean, allegedly. The vehicle started to move, dragging her. Okay, no. So basically, obviously, a young child's body, when experiencing the force of a freight train, bad things will happen. So she was dragged for about 500 feet, and Collins managed to pull her out. Joanna was not alive by the time that any first responders showed up. All categories, quote, I heard the little girl say, Mom, Mom, Mom. Then I heard the train start up and I told my boyfriend to go help because there was a kid under the train, a local resident, Krista Miller, said at the time, according to Your Central Valley, a joint website for the Fresno NBC affiliate KSEE and the CBS affiliate KGPE. In court, Collins noted years of dealing with anxiety, her PTSD, and disassociation for contributing to her judgment that day. I don't care. You know what, y'all? Okay, this is probably going to be a controversial take, but I don't give two flippin' flips what was wrong with this woman. You told your daughter to walk under a daggone freight train. And then she got stuck and unalived, and you are going on about your mental issues? All right. I didn't want to have to do this. Where is my... All right. Since it's not even 10 o'clock and I do have standards, we are excommunicating you from the lady sisterhood, the female sisterhood. You are now a woman. You are no longer a lady. You are no longer a mother. You are not part of the female sisterhood. You are a woman. You have been excommunicated from the sisterhood of women and nurturing mothers. You are a breeder at best. What the actual hell? I would... This is why I'm not a judge. This is why I'm not a judge. Because the moment you start talking about your issues, when you caused your daughter to go under a freight train. You are not part of the ladyhood anymore. You and, Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever her name is, y'all can go on and be whatever the hell with double X chromosomes you would like to call yourselves. But you no longer can take part of any ladyship, credentials. We're done. Ma'am. Ma'am. And she has a 9-year-old son who watched his sister, be dismembered by a freight train in front of you. And then you're like, I want probation. No, you get life in prison, ma'am. Ugh. Just, ugh. Yeah. All I've heard, well, and maybe this article is a little less forgiving. I'm going to try to at least give that grace. But I can imagine your son has greater PTSD issues than you do. If so, spare me, ma'am. Spare me. Feel like, ugh. All right, in happier news, apparently we are going to test the First Amendment and middle finger erections. So, if you perhaps feel a little bit upset with getting pulled over and decide to flip the bird, is that freedom of expression against your government, or is that being drunk and disorderly? Well, that's what we're going to find out. Dash cam shows Vermont man being arrested after flipping off state trooper. Freedom of expression. A Vermont state trooper was observed in a newly released video footage arresting a man for disorderly conduct after being flipped off and cursed at during his traffic stop. A move that led a man to file a lawsuit against the trooper for violation of civil rights. Again, am I the only one that, was told by multiple people, from driver's ed to my mother to, I don't know, Chris Rock from SNL, hands at 10 and 2, just get your license and registration out. And, if you feel like it's a bogus charge, if you feel like the officer is being a D to you, if you feel like it's a dill hole charge and, you have been profiled in any way, fight it in court. Don't fight it with the personal person right there. I mean, am I the only one whose parents went over this with them, or, vaguely got it from, pop level, pop culture? Even Tim Pool has said it. If you can deal with Ian on Tim Pool long enough to listen. Gregory Bombard was driving through St. Albans, Vermont in February 2018 when State Trooper Jay Riggin pulled him over as the two drove past each other. Riggin mistakenly believed that Bombard had given him the middle finger in passing, but it turned out that Bombard did not make the gesture in that moment. Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, or FIRE, released dashcam video on Monday of February 9th, 2018 of the arrest. Bombard is now suing over the incident, arguing that his right of freedom of speech and expression was violated. As Bombard reminded Riggin several times during the stop, pulling him over for flipping him off would have been unconstitutional even if the gesture had been made. Quote, "If someone flipped you off, what's the citation? What's the crime?" Bombard asked, later adding, quote, that would be considered freedom of expression, so I'm going to file a complaint against you. Riggin responded, quote, "And you're more than welcome to." So here's the issue. Although it may be freedom of expression, it's so unusual that it requires intervention to make sure you don't need help of some kind. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He went full detective, oh gosh, Ramathorn. He went full Ramthorn from Super Troopers. He's like, I'd like a liter of Coke. And they're like, sir, we don't sell liters here. And he just went full Ramthorn. Okay. Regan responded, oh, okay. The stop concluded after Bombard suggested he would file a complaint. As Bombard pulled away, he actually did give the finger to the said a-hole and F you to Regan, the cop. So there you go. Quote, it looks like as he pulled away, he called me an a-hole and said, F you, flipped the bird, and I'm going to arrest him for disorderly conduct. Regan relayed onto his radio. What the actual hell? Okay, seriously. Vermont, do you have no crime? Like none whatsoever? Was there absolutely no crime going on this day that you decided to arrest this man in this wonderful vest? You were like, you know what? There was nothing else going on, so I decided to get this man who made me feel he made me feel sad. Have you seen the Hannah stream? That woman did more than that, and Sanders is still in love with her. Allegedly. In my mind, they're married and on their first child. Regan then pulled Bombard over again and arrested him for disorderly conduct. Bombard was handcuffed, searched, and placed into the back of Regan's car before being taken to jail. Regan also told Bombard that his car would be towed because he had pulled over in a no parking zone when he was ordered by the state trooper to stop there. Quote, police are charged with protecting the public, not their bruised egos. Fire Senior Attorney Jay Diaz said in a statement, it is obvious from the footage that the officer wasn't concerned about Greg's safety. He just wanted to punish him for mouthing off. The charges against Bombard were later dropped after nearly a year of legal fees and expenses. Bombard, represented by the American Civil Liberties Union of Vermont, filed a lawsuit in 2021 against Regan and the state of Vermont for violating his First Amendment and Vermont constitutional rights. Fire joined Bombard's legal team last year. Both groups are asking for the Superior Court of Vermont to, quote, recognize Bombard's First Amendment rights were violated in February 2018 when he was interrogated, arrested, and cited by a state trooper. Quote, traffic stops are the most common way that people interact with law enforcement. The ACLU of Vermont wow, the ACLU is actually going to be working to help people protect their civil liberties? I feel like they've stopped doing that, but I guess they must do it once in a while in Vermont. Staff Attorney Hillary Rich said in a statement, to protect the safety and personal liberty of all Vermonters, the state needs to do more to prevent unnecessary and unjustified police interactions like the one Mr. Bombard experienced. So I love how he's had to spend, years and years in court just to deal with the fact that, this officer decided that his, big girl panties were all in a wedgie because he got flipped off. Do you know how many times I get flipped off when I'm driving? Well, not a bunch because I go with the speed of traffic, but when roundabouts were first introduced into the state of Indiana, a lot, because no one understood how to use roundabouts. But I will say they're much better than, four-way stops, which no one also uses. Oh, hell no, Sarah. I am not going to perform a citizen's arrest. We know how terrible those go. Okay, I will give you guys... So the only time I've ever been pulled over, knock on wood, in the last 18 years has been, I was about a year ago, and I was in the car with all of the girl children, and we were leaving the mall, and I was just ready to be done with peopling. As you know, I don't people. And I accidentally ran from the cops. I didn't, because I honestly assumed he was going after someone else. So he's like, why didn't you pull over? And I I didn't mean to blurt out, well, I didn't know that you were pulling me over. And he's like, yep, that was me. Yeah, I was pulling you over. And he's like, do you want to explain why you're going so fast? And, me being me, of course, I was like, well, I was at the mall and I'm all peopled out and I just wanted to get home, but I am very sorry that I was going so fast. So I had to tell Mr. Mo because I knew the girls were going to rat me out. Now, Mr. Mo has had tickets, but yeah, nothing like, trying to explain the girls the safety of driving and then, almost having your own police cam video with your own unintended, you know, fl- Ill- illegal fleeing from police. I was like, your officerness, honestly, I never thought you were chasing after me because honestly, I don't do anything wrong. I'm in a Ford Focus. Like who wants to pull me over? But the guy was like, yeah, I understand not wanting to be at the mall any longer, but could you just drive the speed limit? I was like, yes, I can do that. But also, no one is on the side roads. But, I mean, he was nice. He gave me a warning. And, for the fact that I had already kind of allegedly slightly ran away from him, I mean, he was really nice. So, and had the verbal vomit of, like, I'm sorry, I was just trying to get the hell away from the mall. Like, I had to be there for hours and it was terrible. He's like, well, I understand. No, I didn't say I was traveling in my land boat. Nor did I, tell him to hurry on up. I know my rights. But I did maybe say, hey, I'm sorry, but you see, I'd peopled out my peopling and I'm an introvert and my daughters made me go to the terrible mall. I was at Greenwood Mall and if you understand, you understand. But I had to get home. I was like, I can't be made to stay here. Now, I am of split mind on this because I don't want the government telling businesses what to do, but I find that I only crave Chick-fil-A on Sundays. So I'm of two minds here, y'all. I definitely want to, I definitely want Chick-fil-A to be open on Sundays, but I don't want the government to tell them what to do. So it's a little it's a little conflicting. I am conflicted at this moment. And Fry is back. I guess he's out kidded. Chick-fil-A could soon open on Sunday in some locations. The famously closed on Sundays chicken fast food chain could be required to fire up the fryers and serve hungry travelers in some locations. You know, um, so my favorite friend who is okay, I'm sorry, my ADHD is going really strong, but all I could think is, what the hell happened to that chick from Wonder Years? But that's not the chick from Wonder Years. So there you go. Uh, but my friends would always send me things like little memes, like when you see your fellow gays at Chick Fil A, and it was people with masks on, and you're like, oh yeah, Danica something, yeah, but that isn't her, so I don't. Any hoozle. I love Chick-fil-A on a Sunday, but I only want it on a Sunday. I never want Chick-fil-A when they're actually open. And they're always super efficient, but they always want my name and I never want to tell any fast food people my name. I'm like, "No, this is not part of the interaction. I want to get out of here with as least peopling as possible." and you want to ask my name. I don't understand it. I don't. Yes, it's always you want what you can't have. Just like so I had to go to Aldi, the Aldis. Yes, it's Starbucks too. That's the main reason. Well, that and I don't like coffee and I don't like paying $7 and I don't like telling people my name. I'm like, I'm not your friend. I don't feel like this interaction needs to have my name attached to it. But I also don't want to pay $7 for not coffee. Like a milkshake, we can talk, but $7 for something that has a bunch of. Again, by the time I add everything to coffee that makes it what I want to drink, I might as well just have a milkshake and cut out the middleman. It's always Esmeralda or Daria. Yes. But crap, where was I going on this mental chain? I don't know. It'll come back. It'll come swing in roundabouts. The New York State Legislature or Assembly has put forth a new bill known as the Rest Stop Restaurant Act that would require food and beverage companies contracted to provide services along the Thoroughway and Port Authority in New York and New Jersey to stay open 7 days a week. Yeah, and welcome Homestead Dreams. Yeah, I just look, I don't want people knowing I don't feel like we're not on a name to name basis, you and I. Also, look, I'm not trying to be mean to you if you're working in fast food because heck, all of my my first job as a teenager was fast food. But if you can't get my order right ever, then I feel like I can't be on your side for an $18 pay raise, okay? So how about just giving me the right amount of, sweet and sour sauce and barbecue sauce, and then we can start talking about your, minimum wage and how it's just not fair, okay? But I feel until then, until you can just give me a hamburger without cheese on it, because I am one of those picky people that just wants mustard on my hamburger, and then I order a hamburger and cheese comes on it, that makes it a cheeseburger. Okay? I ordered a hamburger. I make it very simple because I know I'm a jerk face. I know I'm a picky eater, so I try to make it as simple as possible. And you still want $18 an hour? We're going to have issues. So basically, so it wouldn't be all the Chick-fil-A's, but it would only be the Chick-fil-A's that are along this, I guess, thoroughfare, and then by these port authorities. Now, I don't think that this is going to go over well, and I'm not quite sure. So let's see, Apple Green, an Irish convenience store chain with portfolio of companies including Chick-fil-A, took over leases of all Thoroughway Authority service areas in 2021. To date, Chick-fil-A has opened 7 Thoroughway service areas. The fast food chain currently operates 2,988 restaurants across 48 states. Quote, while there's nothing objectionable about a fast food restaurant closing on a particular day of the week, service areas dedicated to travelers, it is an inappropriate location for such a restaurant. Oh, Valehammer, it I was just joking because by the time I add enough, let's say coffee creamer and sugar and syrup into coffee to make it not taste like coffee, I should just cut out the middleman and have a milkshake. So I don't drink coffee. I'll just have a Coke Zero in the morning because, you know, yuck. But this seems dumb. This seems dumb. I don't understand. If they have a Chick-fil-A at one stop, they'll have, McDonald's, they'll have Burger King, they'll have Wendy's, they'll have a Taco Bell, they'll have a White Castles. It's not there. It's not going to be a big deal. This seems like a veiled threat just for Chick-fil-A. And I understand that people get Twitter pated because it is a Christian, thing, but they've never hidden that. And I feel like it would be different if they'd hidden their agenda. Say they, came in and they didn't make clear that they were, they based a lot of their decisions on Fry. Why are you such a pain in the hind end? He's like, I am just right out of frame. You can't see me. If they'd hidden that, if they had, you know, if they'd kind of, if they pulled a Disney, if they had tried to make their secret, agendas or not so secret agendas, I feel like that would have been different. But again, it seems like they're singled out, just like Hobby Lobby is, just like that freaking baker is in Colorado who continually gets, targeted by people. If you know this man has highly felt convictions that, you know, he doesn't want to do certain things, wouldn't you want to go to a baker who wants to celebrate your life or whatever achievement you have instead of someone who's going to be morally uncomfortable about it? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why they never go to, a religion of peace bakery and make them do that too. But, that's just me. I tend to, look at things differently. I tend to think that Jesus wouldn't have a big deal about a lot of things that we make a big deal about because he hung out with, the undesirables of society and, the lepers and the sinners and everything else. And as the world's worst Christian, I figure I have no right to be judging anyone else because I am, like I said, quick to anger, more of the kind of, smitey person. And I have my own stuff to work on. So I can't imagine that I have the moral high ground to, like, Anakin, I have the high ground. I'm like, no, I've never had the high ground. So I'm not going to judge anyone else. Speaking of not judging anyone else, again, another person who's talking about trauma after he's done something terrible. NYC teen describes quote unquote drama, or not drama, well, trauma at sentencing of mother's unaliving who texted pretending to be her after dumping body in a storage bin. The teen son of East Harlem woman who was unalived and stuffed in a storage bin by her cousin. Okay, all right, now this makes more sense. Okay, the way this reads, I thought that it was the NYC teen who did it. This makes much more sense. Squad Bob, thank you. But as I am a recovering Catholic, I no longer need an intercedent to pray for me, but I will keep that in mind. And to any of my Catholic friends, I'm just kidding with you. You can, of course, talk directly to God. Okay. Described Wednesday how he experienced trauma after trauma, first with his mom's murder, then with the killer texting him pretending to be her. Okay, this makes much more sense because I thought it was the teen. All right, this makes much more sense. Omar Walcott cried as he delivered the wrenching impact statement to a Manhattan courtroom, leaving in tears moments before convicted murderer Khalid Barrow, who didn't even bother showing up to the hearing. I guess in New York you can just not show up to your hearings. I find that to be really... I don't like that option. I feel like they should be forced to sit there. You can look, go full Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, well, we're thinking he's definitely part German Shepherd, part. I'll have to catch it sometime because he does do the husky thing where he kind of talks. Because if Loki or Thor gets to where they lay on my lap on the bed, yeah, some kind of. I don't think he's a Chow because he doesn't have the purple tongue. Yes, in absentia, I believe they can do that in at least New York. But he'll do kind of the kind of howl or kind of husky thing. So I'll have to get it. Yeah, Thor is out up front. Like I said, the Feral Boys are home today because they're on break and probably eating just cookies today, I'm guessing. Yes, I will try to find him. He is being I will say since Fry has kind of made my room his den area, Thor is not as amused, but I will have to put pictures up on X because Thor and Fry are best friends when they're not best frenemies, and they do kind of like to snuggle up together once in a while. Again, when they're not fighting. Oh, yes. My whole family is destroyed, said the devastated teen, who was just 14 when his 35-year-old mom, Nisa Walcott, was killed. Her body twisted, then crammed into a plastic container and dumped on a Bronx sidewalk a week later. Quote, I felt fooled when I found out that I thought the memory of my mother was kept alive by his text messages, the boy said, referring to Barrow, 23, who refused to face his kin in court and instead cowered behind bars. Quote, I feel terrible inside, like it was my fault. I let this man think that he was my mother and think that he could get one over on me, and he did, Omir continued. Quote, it's been trauma after trauma, the teen said. It's like digging at my skin like someone's nails just scratching. Minutes later, his mother's killer was sentenced to 25 years to life for killing Walcott last year in what prosecutors said was a twisted scheme to steal her money, which he blew on the devil's lettuce, drinks, and food. Quote, it's one of the saddest cases I've ever presided over, in that the defendant in this case had a family and was willing to be there for him all the time, and he clearly took advantage of that family. Acting Supreme Court Justice Laura Ward said as she meted out the punishment. Quote, what Khalid Barrow did to his cousin after her death was reprehensible. His actions indicated a callous disregard for not only the victim in this case, but the entire family. The victim's relatives packed at least 5 rows of the courtroom gallery and looked on in tears, but Barrow apparently, quote, couldn't face them, his attorney said. Quote, he described to our social worker, and that reflected in the pre-sentence memorandum, that he failed to come to court because, quote, he frankly couldn't face the extended family, Barrow's lawyer, Adam Friedman, told reporters after the proceedings. Quote, and he couldn't deal with, I think, in a direct way because he knew the inevitable results would be. I don't give two craps. You're a convicted felon at this point. You don't get a choice in where you get to be. I mean, am I confused here? Have we lost something? I mean, perhaps I am confused here, but you are a prisoner. I am so sick to death, and this is going to be my last rant for today because, look, it's nearly Jesus's fake birthday, and I'm trying to be a better person for at least 5 seconds. But I am so freaking tired of these criminals having more rights than the victims. I don't care, Sarah Boone, if it was unintentional. I don't care, Letitia Stalk, if you just don't feel like being there when, whatever. I don't care if it hurts your fifis. You did what you did. You were found out by a group of your peers that you did it. And Letitia, we done knew that you did it. You came up with the dumbest stories for an educated woman. Look, DeVry wants their college degree back, or wherever you got it, Liberty University, wherever you Xerox that thing from, they want their, master's degree in education. But I give two craps what people who are convicted, who unalive people feel. I do. If it was in my power, you would all go to Snake Island and the whole crap would be, televised, and we'd have Hunger Games, and, we'd get our tax revenue from the damn thing. Or I'd put you in ISO cubes and, like, Tim Pool has on, Chicken City, I'd let them send glitter bombs for $5 in the live chat, and I'd make you watch people make fun of you all day. This is again why I'm not a judge. But I'm just saying, I could give two craps less about your fifis. I am so done with this. I am so done with watching body cameras of, the police. And there are bad police. I understand that. Marley was dead to begin with. But seeing police being extra kind, being, respectful, and having these people run into other people being drunk or high as balls, and, getting, you know, their sentence is like a $500 signature bond for, felony eluding police, and, running over innocent people and all this other stuff. I am just about done with this. There are, I'm going to, I suck at math, but there are like 3% of people that just will never live even halfway near the zip code of do right. And we just need to figure out what to do with those people. I totally believe that the rest of humanity can be redeemed, but there are 3% of people that just, even if like placed in the middle vicinity of the town of do right, they will hop an Uber and get right the hell out of there because they just can't. And I'm tired of making giant societal concessions for this particular population of the 3% of people that just cannot do right. I'm about done. But that is the newsy news for this morning. I need to I need to get out of the green tank top. I think Hannah is think I think the green tank top gives you a little bit of the crazies. Everyone just needs to go to boot camp. But I feel very bad that this family didn't even get to, I understand that victim impact statements are not supposed to be for the perpetrator, but the fact that he had the balls to do what he did, but not the balls to hear how it impacted everyone else. Gen Pop Justice, allegedly in Minecraft. Oh, good Lord, Fry. Well, there you go. As an outro, Fry is, of course, sleeping, as he usually does. Mr. Mo comes in and he's like, "What is wrong with your dog?" I'm like, "I don't know. Fry is uniquely and wonderfully made." He just likes to air his bits out. Look, I told Mr. Mo, I was like, "You're just jealous that he just hangs out with his wangs out, and it just you're just jealous he doesn't get in trouble for it." Any hoozle, have a wonderful day. I will see you this evening for newsy news, nightly newsy news. We will probably get derailed as per usual. I know you're going to be shocked. But, you know, it is what it is. I will try to find fun news. We always do. And we will just have fun. I will probably be finishing the Futurama ship and gluing it all down. And then I don't have any, mostly because I learned that it was toxic. And the fact that Fry has gotten taller and is able to get into everything, I didn't want him to get sick because he's already had, I think, 4 Christmas cookies. So he's probably sleeping off a sugar coma right now. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys later. Say something nice to yourself. If you are going out, try to compliment some people. If you are an introvert like me, it seems it's, one of the greatest pieces of advice that my aunt gave me, who is a people person, that, if you compliment someone, it's the easiest way of peopling that you can do. And it's fun to see their faces light up, especially if they're not expecting a compliment. It might be the only nice thing that anyone ever hear that they hear, and it's the holiday season, people could use some kind words. So if you're out doing that breakneck, do we have all the AA and AAA batteries for the craziness in a couple days? Make sure you are kind to others. Be kind to the retail workers. You know, this is torture for them. They have to listen to Mariah Carey on the hour. Be kind. Have a great day, guys. Bye.